Hey guys, Coldbrew here. Welcome back to another raid video. Hope you're all having a great day and enjoying your holidays. So Belz the Reckoner, I wanted to test this guy out on the test server before actually summoning him on my main account. I did pick him up. You've seen the video before, and he doesn't look that amazing on paper. If I'm gonna be honest, decreased defense looks great. He can ignore defense on his default skill. He's got a leech and a block buffs over here. The thing is, there's many champions like him already, and he's an HP based champion, meaning his damage is not going to be able to be topped off in other ways like other champions have, like an increased defense buff, like an increased attack buff. Those, well, they don't work on HP based damage dealers. But what Belz has is he's got this passive where he increases his own health by 50%, basically providing a 50% health buff, okay, on himself, and also stacks up his crit damage by another 50%. So basically his passive is a way to, you know, justify him being an HP based champion rather than a defensive based or attack based for damage dealing. So how will he fare against other damage dealers? Obviously other damage dealers who even do enemy max health damage are just going to be so much better in most of the areas of the game. And also what kind of blessing you have is also going to show a significant difference in terms of his damage dealing abilities. What I'm going to be testing him on is basically Hydra. I'm going to test him a little bit on, you know, dungeons and even Chimera. I've got some different setups that I've tested already, and his kit looks great. What I do like though is his utility with the block buffs and leech, and also being able to double hit with this skill. There's a leech on already, means that Belz can actually, you know, dish out some good damage. But that is basically him using a relentless set. If you don't have a relentless set, you can of course go savage set on him, and his relatively okay cooldowns of like 3 turns here, 3 turns here, where he's maxed out. Okay, you of course want to be maxing him out if you want to see their true potential. These two skills will rotate through quickly with the relentless, not so quickly without it, but still you need high speed on him for all sorts of end game content. You can't really go and try to run like a Hydra team or a Chimera team with anything below 250 speed is what I'm gonna say. So let me show you Belz. I did not use the blessings that we get provided on the test server for Belz. It's a 5-star blessing, but it's very difficult to acquire. It would have boosted his accuracy, meaning I could have forgone this banner here and not use the banner, use like an HP banner instead to get to the 350 or so accuracy that I'm having. For end game Chimera, you need 450. So you would have to lose a lot of stats to get him to be 250 speed, good crit damage, good health. His health is quite low with what I have at the moment, but if I wanted to have high speed, I would basically need to have him with this sort of, you know, build with speed boots here instead of HP percent boots. If I wanted to drop his speed to about 200 or so, I could have got his health a little bit higher, I believe. But I think speed is a much better investment than anything else. With that being said, let's go and have a look at him. I think he's a good hero, a good champion added to the game. Not amazing by any means. Legendary books are still hard to get, so 5 and then another 4 and then another 3 here. Yeah, that's how much is that? 12. Still on the high end in terms of just legendary books that you'll throw on a champion that might not have the utility that you expect. Because leech and block buffs, you can get them already from this champion right here, guys. Ugo. Okay, if you don't have an Ugo, then check out their A2 decrease defense, block buffs. And there's the leech also, purely support though. So if you need those debuffs, check out Ugo, epic, okay? If you don't need those debuffs, or if you wanna be utilizing this kind of strategy where you're using Belz, then you go for Belz and you're trying to see, okay, how can I max out his damage? To max out his damage, in my opinion, you need another leech champion in there, or making sure that leech sticks on the target and doesn't go away. So the way that you ensure that is with Master Hexer, okay, that helps maybe getting that leech to a 3-turn cooldown, 3-turn duration, and then also making sure that maybe his custom AI always does this hit first, so the leech attack first, and then going in for the A2, so he always basically attacks through that. Him being a spirit champion also means you'll get some weak hits against magic, but that is how it goes with all champions, really. So if you have a look at Chimera, there's have a look at Hydra first. Sorry, let's have a look at the I've built basically two teams, variations of two teams that I use, so I can showcase Belz. Let's put his Terra Breach there, and here we are lacking Leech. Okay, we've got Ugo for the Leech, but Belz is gonna be here basically as a damage dealer. So that's what I wanted to test out with this team first. We're gonna go and run it maybe like 10 turns, see how we do our damage. Really, the highest damage that we'll see will come from when the heads are decapitated. Also, we have the fears going on him. He's also got the mark on him, so he will get eaten, but it's okay. Once the cleanses go through and all that, so boom, look at that. We hit for about, what, 400k in total. Not that high, but we'll be scaling up. As we keep on hitting, we'll be scaling up in damage because cruelty will go through, decrease the head's defense. The more buffs we have, the more damage we'll be doing. I believe I do have protection on most of my champions here, and that will allow me to do a lot more damage. Like here, I could have actually removed Sifi because I think I changed on her gear, and see what kind of damage we can run here. So the damage that we're running here is not that high. The damage dealers I've got Archer, I've got Mishinagi, I've got Belz. They're not the top damage dealers in the game right now. So it kind of is more of like a fair, comparison, I'm gonna say. What I like about Leech being on all targets means he's gonna be attacking again with his A2 skill, boosting up his damage. So when we do land Leech, it just boosts up our damage even more. So that's why I prioritized the A3 first and then the A2. Even though we've got Leech with Ugo, Ugo will not be attacking all the time with the A1. Okay. So we did about 10 turns here with 5 million damage. Not a lot, by the way. The fear is what is going to be messing us up. I want to see when the heads start getting decapitated to see his damage. I'm not going to run the full key. There's no reason to do that. Of course, that would show like huge numbers in terms of total damage. But I think Belz, you'll get the idea, right? He's going to be there. He's going to be tanky as well, which I like on damage dealers being tanky by themselves. Strictly attack-based damage dealers can be very squishy, especially if like a reflect buff comes up and you don't manage to block it. That's why it's nice also having 2 blocks. If a reflect pops up, it kind of gets messy. So especially if you don't run a reviver, like a team without a reviver, I'll show that next. You can see some big numbers. I think running an additional Leech is always going to be better than anything else. In terms of masteries, I've run War Master on him, plus the Master Hexer. I showed the masteries a little bit earlier, but right now we only have 1 decapitated head. I want to see the damage there. Like Archer is hitting for 400k on the decapitated head, and she's got like a 5-star blessing. He hits for 316k plus the War Master there. So without any blessings on him, blessings would have given me easily another 20% damage. So without any blessings, he still hits relatively nice. So here, see the big hit there. So that was a solid 800k plus whatever we did on the other heads, plus the hex damage. And we get eaten now, so that reduces my damage a little bit until we get him back up. So let's see once we get a couple more of these heads. I want to see the damage overall for him with even more heads being down and him using his AoE skills. All the other champions will also use their skills, so it's not like it's an unfair comparison. But I mean, Archer and Mishinagi defensive base, so they get boosted there by Sifi's buff, so that's nice. And also Mishinagi is running Relentless, by the way, so that can be like a fair comparison between the two as damage dealers. So no, ignore defense sets on them. But I do think Archer, I've got her in Merciless because I really wanted to be proccing her cooldown reduction through the Merciless set. It's like an old build I have on her. So he hits there, 100k with the A1. Also can apply decreased defense, single target. So it kind of makes sense for also Clan Boss if you want to be running that. He doesn't provide much for Clan Boss though. The Leech is okay, but really he's not going to be competing against champions that have like a poison or an HP burn. So you'll have that in mind. In terms of arena, again, I don't think he's going to do well in arena. His conditional A2 to be an AoE attack with leech being applied is not that great. So we do hit for what? About 500k there? Maybe less, maybe less. Okay, there's another head decapitated now. Let's see Belz do something here. Haven't seen Relentless proc that much. So decrease defense over there. Okay. Hit it. Hit it, Belz. We're at 30 turns. We're at 20 million damage right now. Want to see him in action a little bit. Come on. Ooh, there's a decreased defense there. 252k plus the War Master for another 30k. That was okay. On a decapitated head, that's on the lower end. But I'm still, you know, thinking, okay, what other champions could I have used with the same gear? And how much damage would I have done differently? Look at that, 400k there. How much damage would I have done with other champions? So let's just end this run and see how much damage we're going to do here. 23.86. Belz did a 4.6 million. Mishinagi 7.7. 8.2 on Archer. She's got blessing. He's got a blessing. Okay. Plus he gets assisted. She's got the hex. So damage-wise, not insane considering he's damage built. He's built for damage, and Ugo is like a support here. Krisk is a support here, doing 1.8. So not that amazing. I'm not that crazed about him. Oh yeah, probably my CF didn't have gear, but that doesn't really play a role there. So in a different setup that I've also built, different setup here, we do have again, you know, a lot more damage potential coming in here from the multiple buffs. We've got Chris to keep us alive basically with the ally protection, and we got more ally attacks. And then we have Toshiro here doing the significant portion of the damage here. Remember, with the leech already being applied, you'll see a lot more damage. So here in this kind of setup, I do expect Toshiro to do like 3 times the damage even. But the combination of multiple ally attacks, okay, 2 ally attack champions plus the cooldown reduction possibly for Patrick makes it like a better build here for just true damage potential. But again, I would say ignore defense can have a lot more impact when you're running against these areas of the game where ignore defense plays a big role, and especially if you don't have the upgrades. Like for the Hydra, if you don't have the upgrade on the live arena bonuses, you'll see a lot less damage than probably the videos that you see out there. So I have it maxed out, so the damage that you'll see is way less. The good thing is that he can also steal buffs, but it's a single target. So I would have preferred if his ability to steal the buffs was an AoE. That would have been much better. Also for PvP possibly. But again, with the sheep and stuff, not that great. So we'll run in maybe 10 turns and see how this goes. Ally protection is on, but damage here. AoE did nothing. And like Toshiro, he did what, 5 times the damage over there. And we have buffs like an increase crit damage buff on us, right? So when it does go through and manages to get applied. So overall, damage right now is not looking great, and I don't think it's Toshiro's fault. I think it's him just not doing a lot of damage here. Good damage coming through like from the ally attacks though, but any damage would have done that. Like if I compare Thor to this guy, I mean, come on, like look at this. This was his attack. We're getting extra turns here, barely doing any damage. So it got 3 turns in a row, barely did any damage. So that one hit from Toshiro did more damage than I think the AoE there, even with decreased defense. So he's on the lower end, I would say, of damage dealing possibilities, but he stacks up. Okay, the more health he gets, the more crit damage he gets, his damage goes up. But it's not like I have beginner gear on him. The blessings would have helped. Blessings would have helped, you know, getting another almost 10,000 health. I think it's 7.5 thousand health. Also extra damage from the blessing that stacks up your own damage the longer you keep on applying debuffs up to a maximum. The new blessing, I forgot the name, but that's the one I would have applied on him to really see his potential. But the 5-star blessing is going to be very difficult to get. I probably expect like event coming from Plarium, but we'll see, because we've got Noel right now, we've got Cernic. They might do like a mix of those two instead of this guy, although this guy was like offered as a, you know, guaranteed type of Deck of Fate event, which was, again, easier than what we had in the past in terms of Deck of Fate. I'm not talking champion training Deck of Fate. So, oh, 10 million damage. I think now we can call it and see the damage here. Come on. Throw a hit. Oh, the head's going to be decapitated here. Because look at the ally attack. The ally attack there. Toshiro doing insane damage. The decreased defense, though, helps us a ton. Decreased defense helps us a ton with just doing more damage. But there's so many champions that apply decreased defense now. 390k there. That was a nice bit of damage. So let's end the battle. Let's compare the damage a little bit. I think Toshiro is going to be twice the damage for sure. Maybe even 3 times. 7.7 to 3.4. About 2 times. About 2 times. Belz did a 3.4 throughout this fight. Again, nothing insane, nothing amazing, but no blessings. If I had the same blessing as Toshiro, maybe could have ramped up my damage a little bit more. You guys can make your own comparisons if you want in terms of damage dealing. So for Hydra, that's the teams. For Chimera, the higher you go, the way more difficult it is gonna be to survive. The Ultra Nightmare Chimera, especially, guys, it's gonna be a pain. If you're somebody still struggling, maybe you can try and push for Brutal or Nightmare. Again, what you want is to try and get like guaranteed fragments for the mythical. I believe that's on Brutal. If you get a lower difficulty, lower chest, you see this. Champion fragments are not guaranteed, so you're risking on that. But if you manage to do only 36 million here on Brutal, that's where things ramp up. So this setup I have right now, we've got Leech from Necmo. Necmo is insane for this content. Padrig can be very good because he buffs up everybody. Not everybody gains something from the buff, but like supports get extra accuracy. And I think the HP champions get a shield, if I remember. And then obviously Newt decreases the defense on the boss. Insane skill. Because the bosses have insane amounts of defense, even on Brutal. So the triple love tap here did 500k, and we did 20k with that guy there. But that's going to ramp up. Decreased defense is huge here. So now with the decreased defense on, you'll see how much more damage everybody will be doing. So we say you two did 50k now. Now we hit for about 80k plus 60k from War Master. War Master, I think I like on him more than, let's say, than Helm Smasher, because he can't ramp up his damage a lot. And I think the possibility of the double hit there can do a lot more damage. So the double hit there did 70, and then another 60k from War Master. So really solid damage. And if I let this go as, you know, as a run, we'll see on how much damage we'll do. I think Newt's A3 is just insane as it ramps up. So we decrease the defense eventually. Cruelty also plays a big role. And then Newt with the A3 will be doing like 1.5 million. But we'll have the block buffs, the leech coming in from this guy to add on top of everything else. So the decreased defense is there because we don't have it already in this team. So we have weaken from Newt, decreased defense from Belz. And then the other 3 are basically supports. But Belz is again, not a pure damage dealer by any means. Not a pure damage dealer by any means. But still does good damage. If I had 12 legendary books and had Belz, I wouldn't book him. If I'm going to be clear with you guys. I wouldn't book him. Because again, there's a possibility you get another champion in the future. Maybe a better fusion coming. That fusion might be way better in damage dealing than an HP based champion. So if you did manage to get him, maybe think twice before that big investment. So you see his damage is not insane. Not insane. So 130,000. Then Newt comes in with the enemy max health. That's insane. So I will expect Newt to be like 3 to 4 times damage even. And when I compare Newt to my Acrisia does twice the damage. But again, Newt provides the utility of decreasing the defense to boost everybody's damage up until that point. So we're already at 5 turns and about 10 million damage. So we needed what, 35 million on Brutal. On Nightmare, that is about 86, I believe. And then on Ultra, that's 115, 112.5, something like that, something weird. So no round numbers for some reason. No round numbers by player. Like not 35, 34.6. I don't get it. All right, I'll let this run go, guys, for a little bit. We'll come back and see the full Chimera damage dealt. Okay, guys, so I did let this run for like half the duration. We're about 92 millions in with about 5 trials done already. One of them is because of the shields that we get from Padraig, and they are applied on the HP based champion. And then those shields are able to give us one of the trials. There are many trials that can be done with a different combination of champions, and that is mostly just using a mixture of debuffs. But Belz does provide the leech, the block buffs, nothing else in terms of debuffs, and the decreased defense, nothing else in terms of debuffs to give you, you know, the increased trials for the increased damage for the Chimera boss. So let's end the battle here. We'll see the damage recap. I do accept Newt to be on the crazy end because of the enemy max health. So we're at 53 million, but Belz running a 30 million damage for this setup is actually very significant. And I'm gonna say this is much better than using him for the Hydra. Overall, I do like Belz. Not crazy in terms of damage potential, especially for the Hydra, comparing him to other AoE based champions, but his ability to do solid single target damage, decrease defense, his double hit A2 when the leech is on, his ability to apply leech by himself, having another leech champion there is also great. Overall makes him a solid champion, just not, you know, an MVP, the best of the best, the one that you'll be hoping to get a 6-star crushing random. So Belz looks good, but I think I'm not gonna summon him just yet on my main account. Nothing too crazy on Belz, but this was my review, guys. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe if you have not already. I can show you guys again Belz and how I've built him in case you missed it before. But Relentless said crit damage. I had Feral also to give me extra accuracy. Was running high amounts of accuracy there. I could have run more health, but the speed was pretty nice. Relentless overall can be good, but you can actually try things such as Savage instead if you feel like the 3-turn cooldowns are fine, if you've got them booked up. Masteries, I went for War Master, of course, Master Hexer, and Cycle of Magic is pretty nice. Plus the Life Drinker in case you run low on a little bit of health. So with the leech, you'll top up really easily. And that was it, guys, for Belz. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe. See you guys in the next one. See ya.